Hey guys, Daniel here. Before we get to the video, I just wanted to let you all know I have a discount code for select EVGA products, such as graphics cards and motherboards. When you click the link in the description of any of my videos, my associate code is applied to your card upon checkout. If you do purchase something using my code, I do receive a little commission. Click the link in the description to learn more. So you just built a gaming PC, but you're wondering what to do now. You're staring at a BIOS screen and you don't have an operating system or any games installed. So what are you to do? That's what I'm going to show you. What's up everybody, Daniel here, welcome back for a brand new video. Today I'm going to show you what to do after you just built your first gaming PC. Stay tuned. Now, before you get started on installing an operating system and installing games, the first thing you need to do is be sure that you have one of these, a USB flash drive. It needs to be at least 8 gigabytes in space, and you need to make sure there's nothing important on it. So if you have any pictures, any important school documents, anything like that, make sure you get it off of this flash drive and onto something else that's going to be safe, because all of the information that is on this is going to be erased and replaced with the operating system information. To be able to install Windows on a USB flash drive, you need first a functioning Windows PC. So you'll need to either, go to a library, borrow a laptop from somebody, a family member, a friend, anything like that, in order to be able to get the Windows operating system onto your flash drive. Open up a browser and simply type Windows Media Creation Tool, and then download, or go to the first link you see here, download Windows 10 Media. And then what you want to do is create a Windows 10 installation media. The media creation tool downloads, open it up. And at this time, you're going to want to plug in your USB flash drive. You'll of course be hit with some end user license agreements. Go ahead and accept. This process takes about 10 or so minutes, depending on the PC that you're using to create the media creation. These options right here are very important to understand. If you click this option right here, upgrade this PC now, what you're going to do is upgrade the operating system that is currently on this PC. This particular PC has Windows 11 already on it, so that option is completely invalid right now. What we want to do is create installation media, USB flash drive, DVD, or ISO file for another PC. Click next. So on this next screen right here, you are hit with some different options that you're allowed to change. You can change the default language that will be installed, the addition of Windows that you'll install, and if you ever want to change any of those options, you just uncheck this box, and then you're able to change the 32-bit to 64-bit, or change the addition of Windows here. It doesn't look like I can change anything there, but you can of course change the system language. We're just going to go ahead and click the use recommended options for this PC and click next. On the next screen, we are choosing where we want to install the media creation. And we already plugged in our USB flash drive, so that's where we're going to go. And this is the flash drive that we just plugged in, the ESD-USB. Now you can sit back, relax for a few minutes while this process takes place. Okay, we are officially done creating our installation media, and all you have to do now is hit finish and wait for it to finish the last minute things, and it's completely finished now. Now what you need to do is plug the USB into the back of your motherboard of the PC you just built, turn it on, and make sure you boot into the BIOS. Now, you don't have to boot into the BIOS. Sometimes the PC will just detect that you have a bootable USB drive plugged in, and it will just start the process. In today's process, we're going to force it into the BIOS and then tell it to boot off of the USB drive. Okay, so once you've booted up your PC and you're in your BIOS, typically you'll see something similar to this. Now, not every BIOS is going to be the exact same. This one happens to be a Gigabyte Aorus Z690 Ultralight, but they all have similar terminology. So this one makes it pretty easy by having the boot sequence down here. So if I were to double click, or at least click the boot sequence and then click on the UEFI USB flash disk, it would automatically boot me into the Windows OS installation process. But I want to, let's see. This is what you would probably normally see. You'll see all these different options up here, and then you'll have boot on the further towards the right. So go ahead and click on that, or use your arrow keys to navigate over to that menu. So here's the boot menu here. And then if you use your down arrow key, we see that our Windows Boot Manager is already on. This PC already has Windows on it, but I'm going to reload Windows onto it just to clear out any possible AMD drivers that are still on it from my last system. So I can have a fresh, clean operating system for the Intel CPU that's currently in it. So once I choose the USB flash disk, I'm just going to press enter, and then I can move the USB flash, or actually I can change the boot option. Now boot option number 1 is the USB flash disk, and boot option number 2 is the Windows Boot Manager. So now if I hit F10 on the keyboard, hitting F10 on the keyboard is just a save configuration and restart. So the PC is going to restart, and we should see the Windows OS installation menu pop up. I also wanted to add that I have disconnected the Ethernet cable, so the PC does not have any internet connection at this time. You'll understand why in just a moment. Okay, so we can see that the process appears to be starting. Okay, and then seeing this window here pretty much means that you're going to be at the Windows installation portion. So here's where you get to choose your language, time and currency format, and the the keyboard input method. If you live in a different region, you would obviously choose that region, but since we're in the US, that's what we're going to use today. Click next, click install now. Here's where you would input your activation key. I currently don't have one, so right now we're just going to choose I don't have a product key. We're going to choose Windows 10 Pro. Click next. If you wanted to, you could read through this entire thing, but just go ahead and click I accept the license terms and click next. And in this case, actually in any case, you would always choose custom install. And then here is where you get to choose exactly which drive you're going to format. So these two I want to leave alone because these two do not have Windows installation currently on it. So I'm going to delete all of the Drive 2 instances. Okay. So we're going to click on our Drive 2 and click next. And the Windows installation process will pretty much finish up from this point. If you have an NVMe SSD, this process is going to take less than 5 minutes. But if you're installing onto a spinning hard drive or onto an SSD that's connected via SATA, it may take just a little bit longer. But if you're installing onto an SSD, the process goes very quickly regardless. Okay, once you see Windows start to say getting ready, getting your devices ready, anything like that, you can go ahead and remove the USB drive from the back of the PC, and you can stow it away for now because we will end up using it in just a few minutes. Okay, once you get to this screen, this is where the fun actually begins. So you get to choose your region. Obviously, we're in the United States, so we're going to click yes. We're going to use a United States keyboard layout. We do not want to add a keyboard layout, so we're going to click skip. And then here's where Microsoft wants to try and connect to a network for you. But right now we're going to say, I don't have internet, and we're going to continue with limited setup. So really, they just want to try and get you to sign into an account. But again, we're just going to continue with limited setup. Okay. Who's going to use this PC? I'll just put my name. You don't even have to put anything here. You can just leave it blank. And for now, we're going to not put a password in, so just leave it blank again. And then here is where you get to choose all of the preferences that you would like to keep private. So we're going to say no to everything. Click accept. And then we're going to say not now to let Cortana help us. Okay, now we're finally in Windows. Now, being that this is an ultra-wide monitor and we're at about what looks to be 1920 by 1080, maybe even a lower resolution. That's only because we're using a default graphics driver that Windows has baked into the original or the build that you have initially installed. So right now we're just gonna try and deny everything we can, and we can see that we don't have internet and we don't have audio drivers either. So this leads us into our next chapter of the video. Okay, now I'm going to take the time to plug in my Ethernet cable so I can get internet, and then I'm going to show you what your next steps are after installing Windows. Okay, we see Windows detected that I plugged in the Ethernet cable. It's going to start downloading a bunch of drivers just from the web for all the connected devices I have, like my mouse, my keyboard, and any other devices I may have plugged in. But we can see we still don't have audio. So in order to get our audio drivers, what we need to do is go to the website of the motherboard manufacturer before Microsoft gets to push Microsoft Edge onto us. See if we can just skip all of this. Here we go. Continue without signing in. So I like to just do a quick search on the motherboard manufacturer, and then I type motherboard and then drivers. Okay, so once I have that, I'm going to click on the first hyperlink. And then you can search by model name, or you can just go through the list. So we have socket 1700, and we are on Z690. And then you have to go through the list here to find the exact model. So you're going to keep getting annoyed by some of these notifications. Go ahead and ignore them for now, and then try and find your motherboard. So ours is the Z690i Aorus Ultralight, and we got to make sure we find one that does not say DDR4. Don't be alarmed when this happens. So the PC just did a quick black screen. It pretty much what just happened is it installed a basic NVIDIA driver. It's just an outdated one. I now need to find, because I have two monitors plugged in, it made it a little confusing of where I needed to move the window. Let me make this a little bigger for us. I wish it wouldn't have done that, but you kind of can't stop it. Okay, so it still didn't choose the right motherboard. We are a Z690i Aorus Ultralight. As long as we ignore any of the ones that say, we know it's not a plus, we know it's not a light DDR4, so it has to be this one. And then we'll just click our search button. And then here is the window for all of our drivers and our BIOS updates. So we have Windows 10, 64-bit. We're going to make sure you download always the latest driver available. So we see some here from what looks to be December 9th of last year, November 5th of last year. And then we have one from July 14th of this year. So we're going to download that one. We can see it downloaded up here. So we're just going to download all the drivers first, and then we will get them installed. It looks like we have quite a few chipset drivers. Okay, so it looks like we only need to install from here to here. And then from down there, from that below, they're all duplicated. So these are the updated versions of these drivers. So let's download this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, so we can minimize chipset now. Or just, I guess, expand on the next one. So get your latest LAN driver. We don't need a SATA or RAID AHCI driver. That's for if you're trying to run a RAID setup with some of your storage drives. I'm not trying to do that, so I'm just going to leave it as is for now. Expand on your VGA driver, just so you can get the latest Intel VGA driver. Being that this is an Intel CPU and the CPU name ends in K, that means we have integrated graphics. So if we ever wanted to troubleshoot our graphics card and have it completely unplugged, then we would be able to still get a picture on screen by using the built-in CPU graphics driver. We're not using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, so we're going to leave that as is as well. And then let's go ahead and download the latest BIOS, but we will leave that be for now. We're not going to do anything with the latest BIOS version for now. And then this utility is going to be like any RGB software that you want. We're going to leave this off our PC for now. Okay, once you've installed all of your drivers, you'll find them in your downloads folder here in Windows. And now the goal is to completely extract all of them from these zip files that they're in right now. So highlight one, right click, click extract all. And here we have a window that popped up where we want to extract the file to. So we're going to just simply let it show up in the downloads folder. And then the new folder down here doesn't have a little zipper on it, so we know that that is the extracted file. So we're just going to do that with the rest of them. Okay, now we have all of our drivers completely extracted and we're ready to install them. This last one here, we're not going to worry about for now. That is our BIOS update. We don't need that for now. So let's just go ahead and install our other drivers. Double click on the folder, open it up all the way. And then once you see this little window here, if you don't want to see this every time you go to install something, click show more details, click change when these notifications appear. And I like to say never notify. I like to turn these off because I'm the only one that uses my PC. If you have kids or if you have people that use your PC and you don't want them to have control over possibly downloading a bad program on your PC, go ahead and leave this enabled. So I'm just going to click yes, and then we have to go to install our driver again. Okay, looks like this one is already installed. It must have done that when we connected to the internet. Open back up our folder here, and then go down the list. Okay, hopefully this is a little easier for you to understand what I'm doing on screen. I went ahead and installed OBS and projected what my monitor is seeing over to the gaming and streaming PC. If you want to actually learn how to set up a gaming and streaming setup, or a dual PC setup, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video about that as well. But we left off with our MB driver 648 consumer. Let's go back to the folder and do this one here. Now, sometimes these drivers have, like, the installation happens in just a few seconds, so you don't have to go through like an entire process. So don't be like shocked if you start seeing these little pop-ups here, and then they go away and you don't have to click next or finish or anything like that. Okay, looks like that one's finished. Next one down the line. It's also likely that you'll see command prompt windows pop up when they're doing the installs as well. Oh, so we're finished. Okay, so now you're at a point where you would need to install your graphics drivers for whichever GPU you have. I, for instance, have an NVIDIA graphics card, so I'm going to go to the NVIDIA website and install their graphics card drivers. In order to install NVIDIA graphics card drivers, we first need to go to their website, open up your browser, and get into a Google search or whichever your preferred search engine is, and simply type NVIDIA graphics drivers, NVIDIA driver downloads, and then you should get hit with this screen here, and you will be able to choose your graphics series and the specific model of graphics card you have. So I, for instance, have a 30 series, and I have a 3080 Ti. We want the game ready driver. You don't want a studio driver because that is not for gaming. Make sure you get the game ready driver. Click search. Download, and then you'll get another download button here, and that's where you'll actually download the latest driver. Okay, once it's finished, go ahead and open the file. Now you have the option to just install the NVIDIA graphics driver or the graphics driver and GeForce Experience. GeForce Experience is sort of like a built-in software that allows you to capture game clips. It allows NVIDIA to optimize certain game settings to best fit your system and your graphics card. I like GeForce Experience. Some people don't because you have to link a Facebook account to it, but I don't really care about that, so I'm going ahead and installing both the graphics driver and GeForce Experience. I'm going to go with a custom install, and I'll show you why you should do that. And On the next window, you're going to say perform a clean installation. What this does is completely, or at least to a certain extent, it will try and remove all existing drivers, all existing graphics drivers, like the one that Windows installed via the web, and it will replace it with this latest NVIDIA driver. So click next and allow the process to complete. Now, you'll likely see your monitor go dark for a few seconds and come right back. No need to worry at all. This is just all part of the process. Obviously, you can't see it right now, but it says removing previous drivers, preparing for install. Okay, now it's back. Now we just need to allow the process to complete in order for the graphics card driver to be fully installed. Okay, and the last screen that you'll see is this screen right here. This is everything that NVIDIA just finished installing: the HD audio driver, graphics driver, GeForce Experience, and the PhysX system software. If you want to create a system shortcut, or sorry, a desktop shortcut for GeForce Experience, you can. I'm going to leave that checked. And you have the option to restart now or restart later. I'm going to choose restart now. We'll be right back. If you've made it this far in the video, guys, I really do appreciate you. We're still going. We still have a few more steps to cover. But if at any point you found this video super helpful, or if you just enjoyed the video, make sure you give the video a big old thumbs up. It really helps me out. If you want to see more videos, feel free to check out the channel and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another upload. Now back to the video. Okay, we're nearing the end of our setup process for getting Windows installed and getting ready to play some games. The last thing I want to do, actually the second to last thing that I want to do, is update the system BIOS. And that's the, BIOS actually stands for Basic Input Output Software. And that is pretty much what your motherboard is running on. Now, this can be a bit scary, obviously, for some people, especially some newer people that are like just getting into PC gaming. I would like to warn you that you don't want to do this if there is any thunderstorms going on that you might lose power. If you know your house loses power frequently, you might not want to do this at all. If you only really want to do this if you're building a brand new system, or if you're having some weird issues and you go on your motherboard manufacturer's website and you find that they fixed like a stability issue that kind of is sort of related to the issue that you're having. But right now it's bright and sunny out here in Florida and no rain in sight. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to install the BIOS onto a flash drive and then get it installed on your motherboard. So first, what you need to do is plug in your USB flash drive. You don't want this to be any bigger than, I think, 32 gigabytes because the format process doesn't really go smoothly if you're doing anything bigger than that. So make sure it's either 8 or 16 gigabytes. And I also want to make sure that the USB flash drive is plugged directly into the motherboard, not into any of the front panel USB ports. So this is our USB flash drive. It's the same flash drive that we just used to install Windows. I'm going to right click on it and click format, and we're going to leave it as FAT32, 7.27 gigs. That's the factory size. We'll leave that name as ESD USB. Click start, and this is just a warning saying formatting will erase all data on this stick. Go ahead and click OK. Format complete, and you can close that little window there as well. So now you have a completely blank USB flash drive. What you want to do now is go to your downloads folder, find the BIOS that you installed earlier from the manufacturer website, right click, extract all. And then here you have all of your BIOS files. Now you're only ever going to need this one right here. Usually they end in .cap or .cap, but this one appears to end in .f20. I actually want to take a look at the motherboard manufacturer's website and make sure that there aren't any requirements for me to go to this latest BIOS. Okay, we're back on the motherboard manufacturer's website, and we're just checking over here in the description. Usually you would see something that would say, do not install this driver unless you have a specific driver version already installed. Or sorry, not this driver, this BIOS version. Do not install this BIOS version unless you have a different BIOS version already installed. It doesn't look like we have that here, so we're going to continue with the process. So I'm just going to copy this .f20 file, paste it into my USB drive, and now we are ready to boot back into our BIOS. Now, I hope this will work, but if you Press the start button, click on power, and then hold down your shift key on your keyboard and hit restart. This gives you another menu when you are going to restart your PC that allows you to not have to spam your delete key on your keyboard and allows you to boot straight into your BIOS without any input from you. So you'll get some options here that says you'll get a screen here that says choose an option. You'll have the option to continue, which will just restart your PC. You have the option to troubleshoot, and then you have the option to turn off your PC. Click on troubleshoot, and you want to click on advanced options after that. And then you'll have an option that says UEFI firmware settings, and that will boot you straight into your BIOS. So you're going to click that, and then a last screen will pop up, and you'll just click restart. So I'm going to set up my camera here so you can see the screen. I will be right back. Okay, we're back in our BIOS now. And now I'm going to show you how to install the new BIOS version that you just put on your flash drive. Once again, make sure that flash drive is plugged directly into your motherboard. Come over here to this little menu here, click on QFlash. We're going to update our BIOS. Choose the file that you want to update to. Click yes to update your BIOS, and then allow the process to start. Okay, so the system is just shutting itself down and the process will resume once it restarts. Again, make sure you've got stable power. You might even want to invest into a UPS or a battery backup for your PC, just so it doesn't get affected by like a power cut or anything like that. Okay, the file is verified. Now just allow the PC to update the BIOS. Okay, looks like the update should be complete. It's just doing one more restart. Okay, we are finally back in our BIOS. And we can see our new BIOS version is F20, which is the one that we just installed onto our flash drive and then obviously installed onto the motherboard. Now, the very, very last thing we are going to do is enable XMP for our DDR5 RAM. The process would be the same if you were enabling it for your DDR4 RAM. You would likely see an option here, or you would have to go a little further into your motherboard options to enable that. But once we've enabled it, we're going to hit F10 on our keyboard, say yes to saving the settings, and then allow the PC to reboot. Okay, our PC is finally booted back up, and we are back in Windows. Let's actually open up our task manager and see what speed our RAM is running at. If XMP was properly enabled, we should see RAM speed at 5200 megahertz. So open up Task Manager, go to Performance, click on Memory, and we can see our speed here is at 5200 megahertz. Perfect. So the video could end here if all I was trying to do was show you how to get your PC up and running. But what did we build a gaming PC for if not to game? So I'm going to show you how to install Steam, and then also install a game on Steam as well. So open up your browser here, and let's just search for Steam, download. We'll click on the first link, click Install Steam. Install happens in just a few seconds. Make sure you choose your preferred language, click Next, choose where you want to install it. I'm going to just have it on my C drive, and then we want to run Steam. If you don't already have an account, make sure you create one, but I already have one. I'm going to log in now. And then here is our Steam library. This is just all the games that I have, but let's just install a quick game just so we can see how the process goes. Among Us is a pretty small game. It should install rather quickly. I'm going to click install. And then if you want to create a desktop shortcut at this time, you can. Or if you want to create a start menu shortcut, you also can. I'm going to leave just create a desktop shortcut. Here's where you would be able to choose where you want to install the file. Because I already have a Steam library on one of my SSDs, I'm going to choose to install it there. And that drive letter is letter E. I'm going to click next. And just like that, the game is finished. If we wanted to, we could play it, or we could continue installing other games as well. Now, if you're coming from another PC and you have an SSD that you didn't completely erase to reinstall Windows on, and you have games on that SSD, in order to locate those games on Steam, what you'll need to do is click on Steam up here, click on Settings, go to Downloads in your Settings window, click on Steam Library Folders, click on the little plus sign here, and then find your the drive letter that you have all those games on. For me, it's drive letter D. I'm going to click Add, and it went and found some of the games that I have, like Apex Legends, F122, and Fall Guys. So now, where we saw this said install before, it now says play. All right, guys, you did it. If you made it to this point in the video and you didn't have any major issues, you likely have a freshly built gaming PC with Windows installed, all your drivers updated and installed, your graphics card driver updated and installed, and you are ready to play some games now that you have Steam and any games that you may have bought or have previously installed. Now, what are you waiting on? Go get to gaming. I'm not going to take too much more of your time, guys. I really appreciate everyone for sticking around. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.